Bucks lose it again. How many? I don't know how many is this. Is this in a row or like out of the last? I'm trying to even remember where we are now. It feels like we
I
just
think it's
continued
6
to
of the
lose.
last 7.
They've lost 6 of their last 7. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Okay, this is 2 consecutive losses. Bucks are now 10 games under 500. Not that the play-in was really like in range anyway at this point. But I mean, for what it's worth, though, for what it's worth, you have. I'm just talking about what could have been. Now Atlanta has won 7 in a row, but Charlotte has lost 2. They're 6-4 in their last 10. And oh, by the way, if you look at Philly, Tyrese Maxey just broke his. Did he break his thumb or did he break a wrist or something like that? He broke something in his hand. I don't remember. And so I mean, it would it would feel like if the Bucks had been playing any kind of competitive basketball, there's probably an opportunity to get yourself into the play-in. But again, it really didn't matter. I mean, even let's just be real about it. Even if the Bucks were playing halfway competent, they weren't going to make any noise. It's pretty clear with this basketball team. And so the best thing that's going to happen is that they're going to continue to lose, and they'll be a lottery team, and they're going to pray for some lottery luck here. But in the interim, Bucks lose it tonight. Final of 129-114 to the Phoenix Suns. Come on in the room.
Wait, Trey, let me just stop you. Let me do you one better, okay?
Dude,
The last 11 games the Bucks have lost, now there's some wins in there, all by double digits. All of them. All of them. It dates back to that 102-100 loss versus the Denver Nuggets when Ryan Rollins went crazy at the end there.
Yeah, and there was I think before that there was some stat where the Bucks had lost like they had lost a group of games by like 16 points or more. It's just been bad. It's just been bad at the end of the day. But come on in the room. We are live. Crimson Cross.
Chris King.
There we go. Me and Chris King in the building tonight for just a little bit with you here. 129-114 is the final. Jake Roby says hit the Simmons season miserable. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Bam Adebayo. Bam had 83 tonight. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm gonna sit here and tell you off the rip. I'm not a fan of Bam's 83 with 41 free throws and Chris telling me they were fouling before he could even. They were the Heat were fouling the Wizards so they could get the ball back. That's not ethical, man. It wasn't ethical, is what I know. I think they said Kobe. I think the most free throws that he's taken in the game, or is it Kobe or Mike, is like under 30.
27.
So for Bam to take 41, come on. All right, come on in the room. Let's talk about it. Get at us on Twitter at TCIIYEE. Get at us in the chat. We'll talk to you. Steeler Face. We'll start with the super chat from Steeler Face tonight instead of the recap. Let's do that first. Steeler Face super chat says, hate to say it about my favorite player of all time, but Giannis is checked the hell out. It's pissing me off. He's losing some serious goodwill for his ultimate exit. Trade him for the New Orleans pick. I'll say this, and I thought there were some effort issues from Giannis as well tonight. He didn't play the best of games. I do think, though, that Giannis is playing hurt. I don't like again, and well, we know he tweaked his ankle during the game. And remember, I mean, like because he missed the dunk tonight after that tweaked ankle. It just doesn't, the explosiveness, it just doesn't look all the way there for me for Giannis. And again, part of that is, do you give him credit for going out there and playing? No, he had a bad calf. No, I don't. It doesn't look all the way there. And again, I think you do see moments of frustration, and you get down, and he definitely isn't giving it his all. But I wonder how much of that is part of the injury, maybe previous, and then the injury to his ankle. Excuse me, to his ankle tonight too. Listen, I'm with you as far as it didn't look good tonight, but I'll still give him grace because there are a lot of guys who wouldn't go out there and play. And it's me. Mickey says, let's not make excuses for him. Again, Giannis, he missed a dunk like he's not checked out missing dunks. Like that. I wouldn't go that far for him. There's clearly an issue. He clearly is having issues being explosive. But again, the Bucks. But here's the thing. Let's just be honest about tonight. The Bucks lose tonight because they give up 129 points. Like, you still put up one. If you put up 114, I'm not saying you're gonna win every single night, but if you put 114 points up, you shouldn't be losing by double digits. So yeah, if you got to put up 130 to win a game, yeah. And again, Giannis has it defensively. He hasn't done what he's supposed to either. But I'm just saying, I do give him a little bit of. I do just wonder how much of it, man. He's coming out, he's going out and playing. A lot of guys would have said, shut it down. Anthony Davis don't want no more smoke this year. I heard Trae Young is going to come back. Embiid, he don't. There are a lot of guys who won't go out there and suit up and play. So I will give Giannis the benefit of the doubt that he went out and he's going out and play. Trina says, Doc, we don't have Justin with us. Trina says Doc entered the press conference talking about Bam. That's hilarious. All right, let's do a recap tonight. Best player on the floor and it wasn't close for the Bucks. Best player on the floor for the Bucks, and it was not close tonight, was was Kyle Kuzma. 33, 3 and 3 and 2. 33, 3 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 12 of 21, 6 of 10 from the 3-point line. Kyle Kuzma went on a heater there. I believe that was in the third quarter where he went on a heat check, had like 3 threes, couldn't be stopped, was knocking down shot, doing everything. I mean, you talk about a guy who wouldn't let go of the rope. I thought, the Bucks were up during that point, and that was the point where you thought the Bucks at one point got up 9, I believe, in the third quarter. You thought maybe they were going to pull away with it. Of course, they don't. But Kuzma he was exceptional tonight. Again, has been so professional, I thought, this year. And listen, man, to me, he is a solid role player and borderline starter on a good basketball team. I hope if the Bucks do end up trading him, again, it was a rough start here. It was a rough start in Milwaukee for Kuz. He got dealt the short end of his stick because he was replacing a guy in Chris Middleton who had been a franchise legend. So the fans hated him, everything about it. And then he's coming from a situation in Washington where they hadn't been winning. You got to do whatever you want without any accountability. He comes to Milwaukee, and then in his first year, up and down, a lot of down moments. But this year, Kyle Kuzma has been such a professional. He's played even-keeled. He bought into the system. And again, I thought, in a night like tonight, 33 points. He was very good tonight. Too bad he couldn't have anybody else join him. Giannis had 22, 6 and 3, 1 steal. He was 10 of 18 from the field. 4 turnovers. We talked about it. He just didn't look. I won't go back over, but he just didn't look like himself tonight. He really didn't. The turnovers were an issue. Some of the decision making defensively was a little aloof as well, but he just wasn't himself. Miles Turner had a good night. 22 and 9, had 9 boards, 1 steal, 7 of 13, 5 of 8 from 3. But this is what I'll say on Miles Turner. If your game is predicated on shooting threes and you're just playing like a guard all night long, and that's the only way you can score it's just too volatile. It's just way too volatile to be consistent like that. He's not going to shoot 7 of 13 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3 every other night. And so Miles Turner, again, great night, good night tonight, but that's again, he's not a 5 for 8 from 3 guy. So that wasn't, again, he's playing like a guard and it doesn't work. Ousmane Dieng, a lot of potential, 12, 10, and 4 tonight. Saw some good things, saw some rough things, 5 of 8, 2 of 4 from 3. Good, overall good night from Ous. He just got to keep playing. Young guy, keep growing. Ryan Rollins, 40 minutes, 14, 7 and 3, 1 steal, 4 of 8 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 5 turnovers. And again, Rollins, man, it's just for Ryan Rollins, it's just not. Again, you talk about a guy who getting a season in 25 minutes was giving you, or 30 minutes was easily a 20, a 20-6 guy, whatever that was for the stretch. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. And I don't know if that means defenses have caught up. I don't know if that means he isn't. I really can't call it, Ron. Maybe again, I can't call it. But the turnover bug has really hit him. I don't know if he knows this, Chris King. The second half, I bet you kind of one hand how many times he brought the ball to the floor. Like they deferred to Giannis and Kuz and even Oos in the second in the first to bring the ball to the floor because Ryan he can't handle pressure. He cannot handle ball pressure, and it is becoming very apparent without KPJ. Ryan Rollins as your main facilitator and ball handler, he can't do it. He can't. I don't. Again, I don't know if it's regression to the mean. He is incapable when teams decide to press up and play hard nosed defense. He can't handle the pressure, and right now that is shined through so far for him. Bench was awful tonight. Torian Prince played too many minutes. Good to see him back after his surgery. Good to see him back, but 18 minutes. He did it. Him and AJ Green did their thing running around tonight. No points for him. AJ ran around 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Cam Thomas had 8 points, 4 assists. I thought Cam should have played more. Pete Nance didn't score. Ajax weird 27-second stint in the at the end of the first quarter, but and then, if you look at Phoenix side of things, Book had 27 and 7. Jalen Green had a great first quarter. I think he had 14 in the first quarter, 25, 4, and 5. Royce O'Neal hit 7 threes, 21 and 4 tonight. Gillespie, 12, 9, and 12, 9, and 9. He almost had a triple-double. Grayson Allen had 12 points, 3 rebounds. So, again, Highsmith hit a couple threes as well in there. Your boy, Ryan, was it Ryan Dunn? He hasn't. I know we were talking about potentially wanting him in the draft a couple years ago. He played under 5 minutes tonight. But it all ends in a 129-114 victory. At the end of the day, Phoenix, when you defend the way the Bucks play defense, and when you're not able to get stops, again, even if you put them 114, it's just not going to be enough. And again, the Bucks could have used Sims, could have used Bobby Portis tonight. Bench was bad. Could have used Sims obviously as well. Defensively in the interior to cause some havoc, but just at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough. And this Bucks team continues to lose. Let's do one more super chat in here before you go, Chris King. NYC Randy says Giannis played bad. Still crazy how Bam can get 43 free throws and Giannis can get hit every play and get no calls. Defense remains the worst part of this team. Dudes can't guard a parked car. Also, can't wait to see Doc back next year. Yeah, hopefully that's not true on the Doc comment. But we'll talk about that as well. But the new reports out from Doc Rivers and everything. But yeah, no, I agree. Defense is a problem. And I'm with you. How many free throws did Giannis take tonight? I thought he got fouled a ton. He took 5, and I thought he could have at least taken 10 tonight with the way he was fouled. But again, that's Bam Adebayo is a superstar, I guess. So you get those calls, and are able to get to the line 50 times or whatever. So, but that's what I saw. Chris King, what'd you see?
Just consistently inconsistent. This ball club is. I just feel like for the majority of the season, this team has not been able to put a good 48 minutes together. Now, I understand not having Bobby Portis, Jericho Sims, that might play a role in it. But to go all the way to the third quarter, you were leading for the majority of the game, leading at halftime, come out of halftime, even with I think it was an 8-0 run, go up 10 points. And then for them to just kind of let go of it in the fourth quarter was pretty depressing to see because we've watched it all season long. I feel like the guys just – with even Kuzma going for 33, with Giannis playing decently well, with Miles Turner having a decent game, like this team just can't make the big shot when they need it. There's plenty of moments you can point to. Ryan Reynolds is wide open in the corner, misses 3. AJ Green, in one of his 2 shots, is wide open in a time we need it in the third or fourth quarter. and he just misses. And it's like, okay, these guys can be great spot up shooters. They can be great catch and shoot guys, but when it matters, they're not making the big shots. And then also, like, for the Phoenix Suns to hit that big time half court shot from Royce O'Neal, and then we go into the fourth quarter, and it just looked like that just pulled the life out of us. Like, it just looked like they came in with all the momentum, and we had none. We didn't want to play defense. We didn't want to score at a high pace. We were just the possessions offensively are terrible. We can go on and on about scheme and about how this team is inconsistent, but they just realistically the talent gap is there. With pretty much every team in the NBA, just better talent, and guys that are willing to win, guys that are willing to play with effort for a full 48 minutes, and we just don't have that right now. I'd say there's a couple of bright spots in there. For one, at the end of the third quarter, I thought Oos really took over a little bit. Right, offensive board, gets a putback right before the fourth quarter. He goes on an isolation, flashes some of that mid-range as well. So there's some things that you can look at and be like, okay, maybe that gives us a little more credit to bring Oos back. But at the same time, there's guys that just they don't give effort. They're not that skilled compared to the rest of the league, and it's a harsh realization to watch the Bucks and be a Bucks fan right now. It's tough.
Yeah, no, it's tough. You talk about Oos, but again, and I thought that 3-point make from Royce O'Neal was a backbreaker. Going into the fourth when you have it tied up, and that was kind of a momentum changing thing. But again, that's just one of the things that I think Wesley Matthews called it out, where you got to be a little bit better, because you just got to at least throw a hand up. And guys can hit guys. I mean, they do that in shoot around, where you take those half court shots, those half court looks that are open. And I mean, he got a great look. Usually, again, you at least want to put a hand up. You want to make them double clutch. You want to make them do something. And Oos kind of just let it go. And again, most times it won't bite you, but it did this time for the Bucks. But you're right. I mean, again, going back to here's what I hope. And again, I'm not looking at it. I haven't seen anything as far as press conferences or whatever. The only thing I'll say, again, if Giannis is going to be out there and playing and you're hurt and you're whatever, you got to give the effort. And when you're walking around on defense and not even really running out to 3-point shooters, and some of the stuff I saw wasn't, I didn't like it. It wasn't good. And it's just again, if you're the leader and you're going to do some of that stuff, what I don't want to see is in press conferences you call, because this is what he did all year. I know Eliza Jane, unless she's done with this, because we kicked her. Oh, she was on a 24-hour ban, so she might not be unbanned yet. I'm not sure, but if she's watching or what, or Mark Gomes, what they'll tell you, like, oh, you can't say anything about him, but you can't go all year and call out effort and call out guys for being selfish and these are his words about his own teammates, and say that guys need to potentially might not be here anymore if you're not playing well. All the things he talked about, and then go out and give some of the effort that I saw from him tonight. Like, again, you're the leader, and when guys see that, I think it resonates throughout the locker room. So again, I just don't want to see what I give him credit for going out there. I just don't want to hear him come out and call anybody out. When, again, if you watch that film, you watch the tape back tonight, Giannis was, again, I'm just saying he's out there. And if you're hurt, don't go out there. But Giannis out there he was just a guy tonight. You got Bam Adebayo putting up 83 points. And Giannis out there walking around. So again, it's and the other thing I say is, again, I saw I don't know if you watched that game the other night with Denver and OKC, but Shea knocking down back-to-back threes to tie it and then take the lead for OKC. And I said it on Twitter the other night, and we've been talking. These guys are passing you. And I don't know if Giannis cares or takes that serious or what, but those guys are like Shea. Like, Giannis is not the best player in the world anymore. To me, it's Shea and then Joker and then Giannis is 3. And so we're talking about him at 3 versus your guaranteed best player in the world. That's a difference. And when those guys are passing you up, the easy way is to say, well, let me just get to another team. But again, that effort ain't going to cut it there either. So we're going to talk. To me, I'm going to talk about the leader, and we clown guys all the time. But when you go out there, and to me, Giannis was, I guess I'll say he was he's probably second best player on the team tonight, if you will. Maybe you could put him behind Turner. That's not good enough, and that's how you lose games.
Yeah, for sure. I think to your point, like, we haven't really had to address this, but now when the going gets tough, right? Now when we're almost out of the playoff picture for good, pretty much out, like, now you really see that we can't really start glazing on he plays with 100%, 100 miles an hour effort
he doesn't anymore.
It just doesn't look like it, and it's not really happening. And that's the thing. Like, to me, I need him to assert his dominance because he can be that dominant player, and the majority of his game is built off of that effort, right? Because he's so physically dominant that if he plays like that, he's gonna already hold the upper hand because of his physical size and his physicality in general. And so if he asserts that dominance, a lot of that comes from the effort. And if you're not seeing that, that kind of stands out, I'd say. So that's where I think you see some of the defensive issues come about. I think you see his frustration sometimes with the teammates. And that's on, the Bucks for building this kind of roster that's relied on a guy who really hasn't played all that much this season. And then now they're in this position. I mean, you kind of see it, like, the true colors bleeding through.
Yeah, and again, it's unfortunate because I'm looking, and it's right now, we just said Charlotte's on a 2-game losing streak. They're down 16 to Portland in the midway through the second quarter. So they're again, if this holds, they're going to go 2 games under 500. The Bucks, again, they were, you just go back to that winning 8 of 10. They were right there. And I think, like I say, either Charlotte coming down to earth, and or Philly with what's going on could easily come back down to earth, and you squandered that opportunity. You don't even have a chance for it. For it now. You talk about all things you wanted to play for, and it's just not coming into fruition. William Arrange, super chat. No excuse for this Giannis game, but teams in this league don't respect the teammates around him, not allowing him to play his game. Well, again, I agree with some of that, especially with no KPJ. I've gone back and forth with this. KPJ is second best player on the team, and again, he's had some injuries, but I agree. Like, you're in a position where you don't have a guard that you can trust without KPJ. You don't have a guard that can bring the ball to the floor, and then you don't really have a guard. I mean, again, it's just I think it just sucks that all of it has come to a head, and you can't win like this in the league with a coach as bad as Doc, with archaic schemes, with offense and defensively. And then you have Giannis hurt for 30 games. Excuse me, Giannis only playing 33 games or whatever it is. And when he's back, playing half-ass. Chemistry issues because Giannis is flirting with trade ideas. You brought a center in who can't rebound. And then KPJ, your second best player, plays only 30 games as well. Like, when all of that happens, this is the result. And I mean, again, you are fully into what's going to happen in the offseason and what are the Bucks doing next season, because it's just bad, and it's tough to watch. And how many games they have left? Because they're 27-37. Is that the record?
36. So they got, I think, 19. Is it 19? Yeah, 19.
They're 27-37.
Oh, okay.
So what?
18. 18 games?
My math ain't the best.
Yeah.
Yes,
18.
18. So you have 18 games. You have 18 games left of this, and I mean, and that's it. And I wonder at what point Giannis does get shut down if they're mathematically eliminated. I don't know, but this is a sad watch right now. Looking at the Bucks play, And again, if you gave any sense of effort defensively, again, I just go back to how you're gonna have to change this basketball team. Defense, and this is less to talk about before we can move on. But defensively, you're gonna have to bring you got to bring some toughness on this basketball team. And again, I think you're starting to see some of it with the bigger lineup because AJ Green just doesn't get it done. He's probably end up being a novelty piece. Maybe a different coach can figure out how to use him a little better. Again, and he will have shooting hot spots where there'll be a month where he shoots really well, so you'll be able to use him. He'll still do some of that. But this team's got to get way more physical, way more aggressive, way more dominant, and they got to play with a different sense and different level of urgency and sense of pride. And I hope whoever they bring in as a coach, hopefully whenever Doc is gone, you got to bring somebody in that can provide some of that.
Yeah, I think just to your point too, like, I mean, if we're going on a game by game basis, yeah, it's hard on Doc to win with some of these guys the way that their inconsistency shows. But at the end of the day, you're seeing some of his inconsistency because you see Taurean Prince, who's missed 50 games, and he comes in and plays more minutes than AJ Green. You see Kyle Kuzma, the best player on the floor tonight, goes 33 points, and somehow last week he got a DMP. So, like, there are some inconsistencies with what Doc Rivers is doing, and I think if you bring in some fresh blood, new coach, I think some of that gets solved. But it certainly has to start with the roster. I mean, these guys, they don't play with effort, they don't play hard. The mismatches show. It's got to start with really everybody this offseason, and so I'm excited to dive into that part of the offseason because really might not have anything else to look forward to.
Yeah, no. The offseason is gonna be it's gonna be interesting because at the end of the day, you know for a fact, we always talk about remember a couple of run it back. Do you run it back? There's nobody on this roster really that we gotta have this guy back. So you can definitely do some different things and again, I think you got to get tough. I think it's got to be a much tougher basketball team in general. All right, let's move on. We'll keep this thing going. Chris, I want to ask you. The comments from Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis was on, I think, FanDuel Sports Network or whatever. By the way, FanDuel's terrible. I can't tell you how much game time we miss because they're showing an interview. I don't know what producer needs to hear this. Let me explain something to you. When people are doing interviews on camera, whatever, I come to watch the basketball game. So when I missed the I don't know who turned it over. There was, I believe, an inbounds pass. There was a steal. There was a turnover. You missed that. When you miss stuff because you're zooming in on players, because you're zooming in on a bench, because you're zooming in. We zooming in on Taurean Prince's wife or girlfriend, fiance, whatever. He ain't score. He didn't score. And we got an interview where I got to watch her and Melanie Ricks talk. I can hear them. I'll never, like, somebody's got to tell these producers, I can hear them talk. I don't also have to see them when I come to watch a game. I can hear them. They zoomed. Well, let's talk about Doc Rivers. Well, we got to zoom in on Doc Rivers as the play is going. You can talk to me about Doc. I don't got to see these people. It never makes sense. And Emphasis says the tiny end. I'll take the picture-in-picture. If you want to give me a little screen on them, fine. Because you just feel like I got to look at them, fine. But keep the game on. It never makes any sense. It never makes any sense. Okay. But Bobby was on FanDuel Sports Network or whatever it's called, and Clayton says production's kind of ass. But Bobby's on there, and they asked him a couple questions I want to ask you that were interesting. One, they asked him about Giannis, and they said, well, you think Giannis going to be back? And I thought his answer was interesting because his answer before the season was, before the season and maybe right before the trade deadline and everything, it was Giannis bleeds green. That's all I'm going to tell you. Giannis bleeds green. And this time they asked him that, and his response was, he asked him on a scale of 1 to 10. He said 5, he's 6, 7. And so, that was his response to whether Giannis would be back in Milwaukee. He said it's up in the air. He would give it a 5. So I ask you, she's tearing up this man. Anyway, I ask you, Chris, do you what do you make of that response? And do you think that's concerning if you're a person who wants Giannis back in Milwaukee?
I think it's concerning because Bobby Portis doesn't really strike you as a guy who's just gonna BS his way through interviews, and it's interesting that he's got this little spot on FanDuel Sports Network that they're giving him a platform to basically spill what's going on within the locker room, maybe. But asking that question, yeah, certainly interesting. The answer was a little like I just don't know why you would do it at this point. But maybe it's like Bobby knows that he could be gone as well. And so maybe it's just a big I'm going to tell the truth because I know I'm not going to be back here next season. And so I'm hoping that's not the way it is, but I just don't see a reason why he would have to lie. You can't really salvage this season. That's what we know. And so to try to lie and say that he's just going to be coming back with all of basically the drama and what came out about what Giannis' situation was, I can't say that he was trying to deceive us with his answer.
Yeah, I took it the same way. I took it as it was truthful. I took it as those were his true thoughts. I think, and Clayton saying he needs to basically be quiet. And again, I don't know if you think that he shouldn't have said that, but I agree with you on the second part too. He could probably see the writing on the wall for him as well. And it's like, yeah, this is probably my last year. So what do I have to lose by basically saying, this is what it is. Furthermore, the second thing I agree on that. The second thing I'll say on this is, and this is why, Chris, I never understood why Giannis went this PR route and trying to convince everybody that he wanted to stay in one front and then say, I don't know what my agents are doing. Had his agents talking behind closed doors. And I say that because I really don't mind if you want to leave and you're doing it by fulfilling your contractual obligations. I really don't mind that because, again, the crazy thing is when you end up staying, Giannis had the opportunity to say the Bucks made this decision on their own. And the reason he's going to be able to do it was, and again, I wouldn't hold it against him. His extension has to be signed in October, right? Or it doesn't have to be signed. He's up for extension. The first time he can sign it is October 1, beginning of the season. Well, the Bucks are going to want to know in the summer whether or not he's going to sign that extension. He's not obligated to give you an answer. He could easily say, I don't know, maybe we'll see. I might sign it after the season. I don't know. I might look forward to Fred. He could have done any of that. And if you do that, I believe you then really do put it back on the Bucks to say from a PR perspective, you now put it back on the Bucks to say this is in your court. Do you think you can sway me back in free agency? Do you and you could have always left it up as maybe I would have signed back. I don't know. The Bucks then decided to trade me because they decided they couldn't wait. And again, some people will say, well, that's a de facto trade request, but to me, it's not. I would have, again, I think he had that leg to stand on, and he just didn't because, and that's what lets you know there was some truth to everything. He instead chose to kind of throw everything up in the air when you really could have forced the Bucks' hand. And I think you kind of win the PR battle by making the Bucks the actual decision makers. And now I think he's going to try to do this in the offseason where he's going to do this thing. My prediction is he's going to do this thing in the offseason where he's going to say, I don't know, maybe I'm back, maybe I won't. And then the Bucks are basically going to be forced to make a decision in the summer because they don't want to lose him for nothing or get pennies on the dollar before the deadline. But yeah, I thought he had the opportunity to do that and didn't take it. But again, I just think it's interesting that Bobby says 5 out of 10. And again, right now the ball, I'm assuming the ball's gonna be in the Bucks court, and they're gonna make that decision. And Chris, so if Giannis doesn't commit to saying, yeah, October 1, I'm gonna resign, would you then trade him in the offseason? Would you go ahead and do it so that you don't have the opportunity to potentially lose him for nothing or pennies on the dollar at the deadline?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's in the organization's best interest at that point. It just makes the most sense financially and getting ahead of the rebuild process. But the other thing is, to me, when I think about all the Giannis fans, like all the just strictly Giannis fans, they all want to give him credit for saying that he's going to be sticking with the Bucks, and when he doesn't get traded at the deadline because it maybe doesn't make sense for the Bucks organization at the time, they give him credit for posting the Wolf of Wall Street, "No, I'm not leaving." But at the end of the day, things like this come out, and it just continues and snowballs, and it's been that situation for a lot of years now, and I could really see this probably being the end here.
Yeah, I agree. I think if I were to put a number on it, it's probably, if I had to guess, I would say 75% that he's probably gone in the summer. But again, you never know. I would say you never John Horst always has a rabbit out of a hat that he could pull. So I wouldn't, like I said, and could I see him trade? Yeah, I could see him doing I could see him doing something crazy to convince Giannis to resign, and I could definitely see him doing it and pulling off some kind of move, whether that's Miles Turner plus something. I can see it. But again, I do think that's probably the most probable option. Second question I wanted to ask you, Bobby, in that same interview with Bobby Portis, they asked him about Doc Rivers, because again, they had the report, Stephen A. Smith, saying that Doc Rivers will retire at the end of the year. And Bobby said, would you, it's a good point. He said, you got about $15-16 million coming to him next year. You don't get that money if you retire, right? And they're like, no, you don't. So they're like, well, why would he do that? So I don't see him retiring. And then local media asked Doc about it, and Doc basically dismissed that notion that he would retire at the end of the season. What do you make of that? And does that mean the Bucks are going to have to spur their own action if Doc Rivers isn't going to retire? And then do you think that they just don't want to pay another coach? Because I want to say this is last year that he paying Adrian Griffin, but of course, they've been paying 2 coaches now since Mike Budenholzer's been gone. And so when Bud was gone, they've been paying him. They finally got out of that. And now Adrian Griffin, they're still paying him. And so if you were to fire Doc Rivers, you would be paying, again, I'm not sure when Adrian Griffin's off the hook, but you would be paying Doc Rivers. You'd be paying Doc Rivers as well as the second coach right now as well.
Man, they would have to, I think, spur their own action on it, because I think it's a dead end if you keep him here, because he's had the superstar. He's had, 2 superstars playing together, decent depth, and then we've also had the best of both worlds, right? We've had a team that's just solely based around Giannis, and we saw how that ended. So I think even if he, in his mind, wants to come back, I feel like the organization needs to make that decision. But I get it. I understand why Bobby might not say that Doc's going to retire, because when you look at it, obviously, who wouldn't take another 15 with basically, if they go into a season rebuilding, then there's no expectations. There's no expectations for you to win. So it's not like some, I guess, stain on your resume if you're playing with a bunch of guys who are not out there trying to win. So it's either you spur your own action on firing him, or there is something up their sleeve, right, that is convincing the people behind the scenes that they want to stay. But then you get into obviously the Giannis situation with what Bobby answered to your first question. It's like it's a little conflicting. So all interesting points, though. Good questions.
Yeah, I just don't see it. Like I just don't. I don't see how. Again, I agree. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Doc is like, no, I want 16 million. But if you're the Bucks, you can't. I see somebody saying that they would put Doc in the front office, and again, maybe that's back on the table from a front office perspective, doing something there, so that way you're not just feeling like you're losing money with him. But there's no way you can bring him back as your head coach. Even if you're even if you're taking a rebuilding year or whatever it is, I wouldn't want players developing under him. I'd want to get a jump start on whatever is next from the organization standpoint. And to me, there's no way you're an unserious organization if Doc Rivers is back as it's an unserious organization if Doc is back as your head coach. Margot says Doc in the front office. Again, we're not talking about him being the GM. I'm saying yeah, he's some type of advisor, whatever. Yeah, you're twiddling your thumbs. That's how that's what that'd be. You're just trying to find a way to pay him, and it not look like you're basically paying him to go away and do nothing. All right, that's everything there. Chris, anything else you got in a 130, 129, 114 loss before we go to Twitter?
No, I just think that's even more of a good point that I didn't think to bring up is who would want Doc developing young players in a system that's a dead end, a system that is not going to work in the modern NBA. I feel like you need to make a change, and you need to get a new system involved and a new guy that you can trust to develop young players and play young players at that.
Yeah, no, he's bad. I mean, he's bad. And there's no reason for him to be in Milwaukee and to be roaming the sidelines. All right, let's go to Twitter, see what Twitter has tonight. At True Bucks Fan 78. You're starting to see more and more of this. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's time to let Giannis go. Start over. Also, me thinking about those 4 tickets with 4 hot dogs and 4 sodas for $35 special. At Sunk 3 for 5 says John Horst is going to have the offseason of his life this summer. Oh boy. At Drew Barringer says the season went to hell once Giannis came back. I'd trade him if only because he can't stay healthy. Better a year early than a year late. At NYC Randy says, who's happy for another year of Doc Rivers? I am. At Porquet No Gooey says the come to Jesus conversation is here. Best thing if Giannis wants to stay is lose. Draft high or trade the pick. If Giannis wants to leave, best thing for the Bucks is lose. Draft high and rebuild. None of that matters if this goon of a coach doesn't leave first. At Chill on Mora says pivotal point in the game in the third, and Doc Rivers chose AJ over Cam. Then he want to throw Cam when the Bucks are down 12 with no momentum. Terrible coaching. At T from Franklin says blow it up. At Smelly Bucks fan says great loss for the Bucks. Need another one against Miami. Let's hope Bam drops another 83. And then Ger Pruitt _ Joe bunch of numbers says Doc and John Horst will be fired at the end of the year. But hiring Doc and most of these bad trades had Giannis' hands on the blueprint. So again, you see Twitter. Basically, everybody's upset. Again, it's a lot of people upset. You see, I'm starting to see more people get on the trade Giannis train. But again, everybody is ready for Doc Rivers to no longer be a coach anymore. NYC Rant, another super chat, says, okay, so let's do it. He says, Trey, I want to say I disagree with your point. If you think Giannis is not the best in the world, would that not mean your team should be better built then? If Giannis had the Suns roster, he would be in MVP talks and contenders. I think we trade him. So let me break that. He says, if you think Giannis is not the best in the world, would that not mean your team should be better built then? So good point, but NYC, we're talking about things that are known versus things that are unknown. Coming into the season, I would have told you Giannis was the best in the world. What I'm saying is we now have a large enough sample size, in my opinion, with Shea coming off the – Shea's about to win a back-to-back MVP. He just won Finals MVP, and he won a Finals. So Shea in the calendar year has is about to have 2 MVPs, a finals win, and a finals MVP. Okay? And then and this also goes for 2 consecutive NBA seasons. So to me, if Giannis had that resume, 2 MVPs, a finals MVP, and a finals win was coming off of that, I would have no choice but to tell you that Giannis is the best player in the world. So it'd be hypocritical of me to then say, well, Shea is not, when Shea has the accolades of the guy who is the best in the world. Joker, and also he's been healthy. Joker consistently basically puts up triple-double numbers. I'm not sure what his numbers are right now this year. Joker's basically a triple-double waiting to happen. Now, defensively, Joker is ass. And again, and again, a lot of people would have told you that Joker had already passed Giannis. I don't know that I'd go that far. I think he's passed Giannis. A lot of people would have told you Joker is the best player in the world. But I watched that game last night with OKC and Denver, and everything about Joker, that you look at, that you talk about where his flaws are, they came true. Because Jalen, what's the man name for OKC? Jalen who? Jalen Williams had like 30 points, all because Joker wouldn't leave the paint. So that's why Joker has 15 rebounds there. He's literally camped out in the paint. He would not. Watch that game. Go back and watch Jalen Williams play. Jalen Williams was spread out, hitting threes. Joker couldn't. It was like Stoop Kid. You watch Hey Arnold? Stoop Kid's afraid to lead the stoop. He wouldn't leave the paint, and Jalen Williams was able to hit threes all night. But to your point though, NYC, again, I'd still put Giannis third. But what I'm saying is there was a point where Giannis was head over heels the best player in the NBA. Now, again, I have him third, and not only you third behind Joker, behind SGA, the gap SGA's trying to widen that gap. And secondly, you got Anthony Edwards nipping at your heels. You got like I said, definitely Anthony Edwards is nipping. You got Wemby nipping at your heels. Like you have like there are guys that are out there that are, again, I wouldn't put guys like Cade there yet. I know Jaylen Brown, Tatum's been out. I wouldn't put Donovan Mitchell there yet. I'm not putting Jalen Brunson there. I'm not putting guys like that there. Well, I'm talking about. Well, you go Luka. I'm not putting Luka there yet. But as guys continue to be healthy, when you're not, and again, health has a lot to do with it too. Like again, if Embiid was a healthy player, Embiid would be in the conversation for top 3 in the world. He has that much skill and that much ability. He can't stay on the court. And Giannis is now becoming a guy that I look at him and I go, you can't stay on the court. And so when you have that going for you, and the other issue now is not only are you not able to stay on the court, when you're on the court, you ain't like you winning. Yep. So all of that in comparison, Giannis has built up a lot of goodwill. But there are some people that probably have him closer to 5. I got him at 3. There are some circles that would tell you he's at 5. But to your question though was about, but to go back to your question, you're saying if he's not the best in the world, should your team be better built? My thought was that he was the best player in the world. This is a realization this year now. What I'm saying, maybe he's not. So now moving forward with that identity, with that thought process, I think I would have to build the team better. And I couldn't just say, well, the team's going to be built around Giannis and that, because you'd be a fool at this point, to me. You'd be a fool to say, well, Giannis is going to be healthy for 70-plus games and the playoffs, and we're just going to build a whole team around him and basically kind of see what happens. And maybe, and I say that, maybe in his heart of hearts, maybe that's what he knows. Maybe that's why he's trying to potentially push himself to a New York so that the team is better built and you're playing with a better player like Jalen Brunson, or maybe it's Minnesota. So you are playing with another top tier player like Anthony Edwards. And so again, maybe that's something that he's realizing hit by himself.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that, you see Embiid and what he can do when he's on the floor. And you bring up that point, Trey. I do believe Embiid has gotten the rightfully so, he's gotten a lot of criticism for not being able to get to a conference finals. And you never see him in these top conversations anymore. Just because I think everybody, even the casual NBA fan, knows that he can't stay on the floor healthy. And even he has a good team built around him, or he has superstars around him at this point. But, you look at the body of work from the last 4 years, and it's Giannis hasn't got out of the first round. Giannis hasn't got to didn't get to the playoffs this year. And so I would understand why you would move him back. I would understand that because that's what they do with Embiid all the time. And this past 4 years has been bad.
Yeah, no, again, he just hasn't been there. He hasn't been there. I'm trying to see somebody. Mark Gomes and Anthony Edwards again. Minnesota's going to be right there. They're fourth right now. They're 40-24 in the West, 10 games back. They are going to be right. They're going to be as tough and out as anybody in the playoffs. Trust and believe. Trust and believe that. NYC saying they have better players around them than Giannis. Yeah, but again, that is true. But again, Giannis just had Dame, and that didn't work. So they tried to go that route. Again, when Giannis won a championship, Chris Middleton was you could probably argue he was a top 20 player in the NBA at his peak. At his peak. So you had a Chris Middleton who was that good, but like when you look at, and I get what you're saying about the roster, but they kept those guys and tried to chase. The only guy they didn't keep was PJ Tucker, like that was of some real importance on that championship run. And maybe you could argue they should have, but they tried to run it back as much as they could. And it just didn't work. And then you went and got Damian Lillard, and it didn't work. So I hear what you're saying, where you say, well, yeah, you're because your point there is, well, these other teams have better players. They paired Dame and Giannis. They did what you're asking them to do, and what happened? Either Dame got hurt or Giannis got hurt. Again, go back to it. Chris Middleton got hurt in 22. I believe I'm right. 23, Giannis was hurt against the Heat series. 24. Was it Dame and Giannis got hurt? Or was it 24? Dame and Giannis got hurt, and then last year Dame was hurt. Tore his Achilles. Yep. So all the things and at that point,
Giannis didn't play yet.
Giannis didn't play. Yeah, right. Giannis didn't play at all last year. He didn't play.
Yep, at all.
So yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is, it's like they were out of stars to go get. They were out of guys. They spent all their money. They spent all of their capital trying to go get getting Drew Holiday and getting Damian Lillard. And then you move past that, and you can't play. And Dame tears his Achilles, and the best thing smoking was Miles Turner, and he sucks. And but oh, by the way, Miles Turner played much better in Indiana. He played much better in Indiana. He's playing right now. So I mean, I'm not disagreeing that the team was. I'm not disagreeing that the team didn't have what. I'm not disagreeing that the team could have been better or should have been better. They're not good. His what he has around him, but I'll tell you, there are teams that do it with less. There are plenty of teams that do it with less, and that if you put a different coach around, I 100% believe that they could at least make the play-in. 100% believe it. But
yeah, I agree with that. They could have made the play-in. Just yeah, I think you see a lot of issues with Doc as the head coach at the helm, You see some issues with guys not being able to stay healthy as a full group. They really haven't been healthy this year. So
no, that was Giannis played last. It was the season before postseason before he didn't play. Yeah, he played all last postseason. It was the season. It was the other one he didn't play. And then Clayton says Miles just had 22 and 9. Why did he suck? We're not talking about tonight. He sucks overall. Yes, tonight he played much better, but he sucked overall. Monica says Turner played the same way under every Pacers coach before Carlisle got there. But again, we're going off what he played like the last time you saw him. Last time I saw Gary Trent was much better last year than he was this. It's a year-to-year league, and so they gave him the opportunity. Yeah, Mark, we already said he played last year. We got it. Thank you. We misspoke. It was the year before.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit of deja vu getting wiped by the Pacers.
Yeah, and again, here's the thing, Mark. Here's the bad thing. This is how you know how much he's been out. You forget when he's playing, when he's out. That's how much he ain't played. I'm trying to remember how many postseasons he's had. How many postseason runs he's had healthy since 22? I can't remember because he's always been hurt. That's the whole point. I shouldn't even have to think about when was the last. Well, did he play this year? Well, no, last year. Last year's the one he played. Or the year before that he got hurt. Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have to think like that. But that's how it goes. I will tell you. But again, what does that say when you got 5? You lost in 5 to Indiana. What does that say? Again, I'm not saying Giannis to get it up, but I'm just saying at some point it's got to come down to you. Right? Okay. Well, yeah, great, exactly. So you're missing multiple postseasons. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Same thing with Embiid. Embiid. I know there's been a few that he's played in, but he's been hurt. Even when he plays, he's hurt every year, and that's where it's getting to with Giannis. Miles Turner numbers last year, right? Well, let me see Miles Turner. We say not that far off, and again, Miles Turner. When you talk about the numbers, you want to know one of the biggest numbers? Miles Turner, he's averaging 3 points less a game. He's averaging 1 rebound less. He's averaging half a block less. And you look at his plus minus, he hasn't had a negative plus minus in 3 years. Yeah, negative plus, and he has not impacted the game at all. He just hasn't. He hasn't been good. I don't know the point about didn't the Pacers almost win a chip. I don't know. I don't get the point there. Anyway, I'm just looking at chat. Margot says losing in 5 is not good, and losing in 5 is not. I don't care how you put it. I see what you're trying to say. The Pacers almost want you. Losing in 5 is not good. Getting your ass whooped 2 times in a row is not good. Losing the way they lost game 5, losing is terrible. And again, if you think, and Mark, here's the thing, if you think it's not that big of a deal, then why is Giannis looking to leave? Why, if it wasn't that big a deal, Giannis, oh great, man, I'm already, why is all this coming up? So no, that is that again, you're losing it. It is a big deal. And because if it wasn't a big deal, he wouldn't be thinking about his future in Milwaukee. If it wasn't a big deal. No, it was a big deal.
Well, yeah, now I'm getting like little flashes of memory here. Wasn't it Tyrese Halliburton that drove by Giannis for the game winner in that game 5? So I'm just I mean he has to accept some blame for the way that he's not been able to be out on the floor. Like that's point blank period. It's been way too long missing games, and you could say he played. This is the first time he's not played 65 games plus. It doesn't matter until you get to the postseason. If you're missing games in the postseason, then what good are you? What good are you?
Daryl Clayton says he's 4-11 in his last 15 postseason games. Yeah, there's and I don't know. This is what I say. You go through the superstars and whatever teams they had on. Tell me all superstars that have a record like that. I don't know too many superstars that are 4-11. The top again, we just named all those top guys. Go through them. Joker, Wemby. Well, Wemby ain't never mind Wemby. Joker, Shea, Brunson, Mitchell, even your second tier superstars and stars. They don't have 4-11 is bad. You can give me all the numbers you want. You got the game. Let me say this. The games were in the balance. Some of these games were in the balance. Like that game where, like you said, where Halliburton laid game in the balance. 33, 15, 7 don't matter when the game's on the line and they laying it up over you.
Yeah.
Mark, what you're giving me right now are excuses. That's what you are giving me excuses. And at the end of the day, those don't hit for a damn thing.
Yeah, I mean the results are the results. I mean you can't in the past 2 years you cannot put Giannis as the best player in the world if there's guys out here running the league like Shea, and you haven't played in this regular season all that much. Like I just don't understand how that's like asinine to anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not a. The results are the results, and you got to win games. All right, Bucks lose it tonight. They lose 129-114. You got any game balls to get out? Or you good? Are you good off game balls?
Kuz deserves one.
Okay.
Because I don't know how many more I'm gonna give out this year if this if this keeps going like this, double-digit losses all the time and not a lot of effort. But Kuz was hooping. And yeah, for what it's worth, for what we brought him here for, I mean, I can't really complain about the way he's handled things from like a professional standpoint. I mean, he's been a pro outside the J Hud show. That was a little wild, dancing through the hallway when we're on a losing streak. But no, I thought he played well tonight and bouncing back after just a lot of weird activity going on with his minutes this year. And so I'll give it to Kuz, a.k.a. I don't even know what to say, man, anymore, these AKAs. I'll give him a.k.a. Spotted Cow. There we go.
There you go. Game ball tonight. If I was doing Bucks, I would go Kuz, but yeah, I thought that I thought in that second half, especially in the second quarter, there were moments in this game where you couldn't stop Devin Booker. But again, Devin Booker had 27, Royce had 21, Jalen Green had 25s. I'm gonna go. I don't got no AKAs, but I'm gonna go Royce O'Neal with the game ball tonight. 21, 5, and 4. I thought the 3-point shot really really changed things. And again, they hit 24 of them. We left them open, but they hit those shots. So I give a game ball to Royce O'Neal. I don't have an AKA for him. Let's go down the rundown of games tonight. Look around. Spurs beat the Celtics 125-116. Jaylen Brown was thrown out of this game. I don't know if you saw that. He went after referee Tyler Ford, thought he got fouled, and then just kept running his mouth. He got the first tech and then just wouldn't stop. And I'm like, dude, like you, I don't know if he thought he was Draymond Green or what. You don't have that leash. So it didn't work for him. Got thrown out. Tatum had 24 tonight, coming off the Achilles. He was 10-24 from the field, 4-14 from 3. So he seems to be working his way back into it. 113-99 win for the Rockets over the Raptors. The Hawks continue their winning ways. They beat the Mavericks. Pistons beat the Nets tonight. The Sixers beat the Grizzlies. Pacers are up right now of the Kings. Blazers are up 10 right now of the Hornets. Bulls are up 5 of the Wizards in the third quarter. Timberwolves are up 3 right now of the Lakers. But of course, not everybody's gonna be talking about this. Is gonna lead basically every show tomorrow. Is Bam Adebayo, 83 points in 41 minutes. They beat the Wizards 150 to 129. Listen, man, I'm not. Again, I gotta watch it. I'm not gonna say I sat there and watched every bit of it, but it does seem like they're like for Bam Adebayo. I just hate that it's like Wilt Bam like it just don't. It just doesn't feel. I don't know, man. I would have loved. There's so many guys. I'd have been like, it's cool that they broke the Kobe record, but Bam out of it's just not like so many. Like if it was again, obviously if it was Giannis, but like Luka, Booker, who's had 70 before, Harden, who's done some crazy things, Kawhi, like literally, like there's so many guys that you could go down the list and think of and be like, okay, you know, a Steph Curry, a KD. There's so many guys you go down the list and think of that be like, okay, 83, cool. But for Bam to do it and the way they did it, and here's the only point I'll say about it. Again, they're fouling to get the ball in. They doing the only thing I say about it is this. I guess I don't understand how and why it's okay it's an unwritten rule that when you're up, you can't shoot no more, you can't dunk, you can't do nothing else, or else they want to. Everybody ready to fight. When the game's out of hand, you basically got to stop playing. But the stuff that Miami was doing to get Bam this record, somehow that's okay. Somehow that's fine. And then the other thing is crazy. You took 43 free throws. He averages for the season, Chris, 4.6 free throws a night. How on earth do you take 43 when you average less than 5 free throws a night? I don't understand it, but again, I did not watch the entire game. I'm just not I just wish it was somebody else. That's all.
No, I totally get that because I mean, you rarely even hear about Bam getting close to that kind of thing, right? Like I don't know his career high before that, to be quite honest, but I don't remember if I've ever heard of a Bam 60-point game. So for him to now go and break Kobe's record is insane to me. Just talking to people that were actually watching it, I didn't watch it. I'm watching the Bucks, and like them describing what was happening is disgusting. The Heat were challenging calls to get him an extra 2 free throws. It didn't get overturned, but just the way in the way that happens, it's no highlight reel from the end of that game. I'll give him credit for. I checked. It was, what was it, a 34-point first quarter, which is insane. But in the way that it happened with all those free throws in the fourth quarter, I've got some time to think about it, and yeah, it's nasty. It's disgusting. I can't believe, like, the Kobe highlight was awesome, right? He's getting to his spots, he's getting buckets, he's not passing,
and he got pulled out of that game too. They took it. Kobe could have challenged, maybe. I don't know if he really challenged for 100, but they pulled him out of that game, you know.
Right, and in this one, they're virtually up like at least 15 plus for the whole second half. Like it got a little close. I think it was like 118, 102, but after that, it was a blowout. It was a blowout, and they played him until the wheels fell off. Until he got it, they checked him out.
Yeah, so I don't care what happens. I know that we played him again when we play Miami. What, Thursday? We play him Thursday, right? Yeah. I don't care. We need people. I need everybody available. I ain't giving this man no 80 points. No. Because again, to me, that would have been hard. You talking about free? He would have earned every one of them free. He would have earned those free throws because we would have been fouled. We would have done a lot of we would have done a lot of stuff to make sure that didn't happen. If I was, but again, it's the Wizards. They sorry as hell. They don't give a damn. And again, that's why Adam Silver's got to get a hold of this tanking thing, because you start to see stupid results like this when teams don't care. They don't care about the game, and that's an embarrassment when you letting guys do that. Again, I'm not 43. That's ridiculous. But anyway,
it's kind of cool though that, at least for me in my lifetime. I mean, I was out. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Where was I? When Bam scored 83? Not watching the game, watching the Bucks. Watching the Bucks have one of their worst seasons in a decade. So, there's that.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm not gonna lie, I hate it. I'm not a fan. Like I said, I'm not like a big Luka guy. I would love it. So I just feel there's some people who deserve Shea. There are people who deserve to hold records and to hold some of this stuff. And it's like when you get mixed in like with some of the great, like these all-time records, it's just like, yeah, you're not an all-time. It just don't look right to me. It just doesn't look right. Bam Adebayo score 83 don't look right. So yeah, I gotta feel. I definitely want to see I want to see how this holds up in history, because Kobe's 81 is like held up as like this all time. I mean, there's Wilt's 100 and there's Kobe's 81, and I'm sure people thought that like that was gonna be a tough one to really break through. But again, this is what I ask you. Bam hitting 83 and Bam hitting 83. He's really not even a scorer like that. That to me means 100's got to be in play. 100's got to be in play at some. If Bam can get 83, and he had how many made threes did he have? 7?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 7.
7 made threes. Again, I guess so to me, the hardest part of that is taking 40 free throws.
Yeah, you got to have the refs on your side, and that's the biggest like unfortunate part about this, is that it seemed like the refs were like on board with this. Like it felt rigged the way that they were doing it in the fourth quarter, from what I heard. So like you got to get the refs on your side, but you also have to have a team that's willing to just like say, screw it, we're just gonna actually try to help you get this record openly. Like there's no integrity with it. It's just,
now's the thing. Everybody from Miami was out. So Powell was out. Hero was out. They had a lot of people out. So yeah, you have a lot of people who are going to defer. I think it was the perfect storm. You got to have a lot of guys out, so people are going to give it to you. And then I think on the other side, you got to have a team that's tanking and don't care about nothing, like Washington, where they're like they clearly didn't give a damn either. And so I feel like they didn't. From my understanding too, they didn't really start trying to defend for by the time they woke up and realized what was happening, he already had 50.
Yeah. And
then that's when they started trying to double and triple team, do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that to me that means 100. That means 100's in play. And so Queen Mamba 414 says Wemby's going to be the one to score 100. That feels very possible, because when you think about guys that can truly get 43 free throws by sheer strength and being able to get to the basket. That's why it feels like a guard. It feels like a guard with like, and that's why to me, again, Kobe's 81. Again, I got to see this 83 from Bam. I'm assuming Kobe's 81 is going to feel better or feel more real. But to get past that in a modern game, especially if you're going to do it with the way Bam did it, you're probably gonna need to get to the free throw line. And yeah, Wemby's tall enough and big enough to where he can kind of generate some of those fouls that are like kind of nothing, but they're swiping. They don't feel like they can stop you, so they're just gonna foul you. And the other thing is, you gotta have a 3-point shot. That's why Wilt's 100 is kind of crazy, because he had a 3-point shot, but hitting 7 threes. And I think Wemby's a better 3-point shooter than Bam too. So Wemby would be a good guess as a guy that could do it. But to me, I think that Mark goes, it's not Spurs basketball. It's not. Again, it just depends on. I think again, it had to be a perfect storm. So again, I think yeah, if your top 5 scorers, if 4 of them are out, and you're playing somebody who's ass, and again, Alex SARS, yeah, you probably can, you could probably do it. But yeah, I think Wemby, I could definitely see Wemby doing that at some point. I could see him getting hot and being able to really challenge for that. But yeah, that's again, it's crazy number though. It's a crazy number.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh well, we'll see. We'll see how it holds up in history, like you said.
Yeah, I'm interested. All right, anything else you got before we? That's all I got. Anything else you want to get to before we get up out of here?
Looks like Team USA might lose to Italy in World Baseball Classic. That'd be crazy. 8-4, 2 outs. They got 2 runners on though. We'll see.
Okay. We're World Baseball Classic. Of course, everybody's trying to punch their tickets into the dance. So again, we keep telling you we will do a Creamsicle crossover bracket challenge that will sustain us for the rest of the season. So that'll be fun. When's the tourney start?
That would be next Thursday.
Next Thursday. So the tourney starts next Thursday.
Yes. Selection Sunday is this Sunday.
Okay, cool. So cool. So once the brackets are set, we will we'll get together, we'll put out some graphics and everything, and we'll put out links in the show and the chat and all that. Let me see when the Bucks play next week. Dude, the Bucks play Sunday, and then the next time they play after that is Tuesday at 8 against the Cavs Eastern. So yeah, so at that point we will probably by Tuesday we'll have the brackets, everything out and ready, and we'll be ready. We'll have a link and everything, and you guys can join us again with the Creamsicle crossover bracket challenge. It was real fun last year, so make sure you join us. Make sure you join us this year and do it. It'll be $10. $10. You put as many sheets as you want to. Again, I'll tell you this early, so we'll tell you this early. Make sure you tell me your sheet. I'll tell you how to get in touch. Make sure you tell me your sheet name. I need your sheet name with when you send the money in, and because there's too much stuff. I ain't hunting people down this year. I'm just gonna take you $10. I'm gonna tell you right. I'm gonna take you 10. You had to find me and tell me that was that I messed something up, because I did too much hunting last year to get people's. So when you send your money, I need your sheet name. So anyway, all right. That's it. That's it for us tonight. We appreciate everybody for joining us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us, and we appreciate it. Another blowout loss, but it's okay. We're just trying to. We're going to have some fun, man. We're going to keep this thing rolling. Just me and Chris and I. So appreciate Chris King on the program and getting us through this. Appreciate everybody who sent this super chat in. Appreciate everybody who sent the chat. Appreciate everybody on Twitter. Appreciate everybody who watched this wherever you watched this and saw this program. So again, we thank you all for your support. Hey, so again, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you believe that you're going to win the Creamsicle crossover bracket challenge, March Madness, hit that like button right now. If you ain't watched a lick of NCAA basketball, you can still hit that like button for us. Please do that. If you're going to participate, if you're not, go ahead. We'll have some fun. Again, and also, man, if please, we love for you to take this video, share it, whatever, all the good things. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the Creamsicle Crossover. It is the best market poster in all of the land. That's it. This has been Cream City Media Group production from the Group for
Chris King.
If I am your enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wood nickels.